Welcome to this video. I'm glad to have you here because in this video, I'm going to be showing you the smartest ways to make money online moving into 2026 and why high ticket dropshipping, high ticket e-commerce beats every single other model out there. So that's the title of today's video and we will jump in now. So it's quite easy for you to be searching online. You've come across this video on YouTube and you'll see loads of different ways of making money. Everyone is trying to sell you something. I think you would agree. So right now you're in a position where you're probably just staring at your screen, looking around, researching, feeling like you're being productive. And there's a real big misconception here, which is, are you actually being productive if you're constantly researching? Well, I think the fallacy here is that a lot of us, we're always looking for the next best thing, the quickest thing, the thing that's the easiest to do. And online, you're going to see a whole load of business models from really good people who are professionals, who are educators, who are legitimate, all the way to the other side where you're sitting there, perhaps late at night on your phone, and there is some course guru or someone flashing their fancy cars, flashing their lifestyle, telling you you should be selling products online, low ticket or Amazon, or even doing crypto, or even at the worst case, something like Forex. Okay, so a lot of these models will work. I'm not saying that. There are specialists in every separate type of industry that I'm going to cover in this video, and all of them can work. But what I don't want you to be is someone who just sits there just staring, someone who just has no action. Because at the end of the day, you can stare, you can watch, you can research, but until you take action, you aren't going to move forward with your life, with your goals, with your business. So what I'm going to do then is cover a few things. We're going to look at how obviously you need to work hard. That's the common misconception, but how you can work smarter through education, through implementation, and through following the right business model. So we don't really want you to be on the left here, where you're slogging away 80 hours a week, trying to learn everything yourself. The whole purpose of this channel and what I'm sharing here is that on the right-hand side, you're working smarter, you're working faster, and you're obviously making more profit. That's the key thing. Currently, you're probably doing things the hard way, which as shown in this graphic is where you are trying to get to a destination from A to B. But what ends up happening is you end up having to go all around all the obstacles yourself and work out how to navigate those particular pitfalls. Whereas the smart way is to find someone who's doing what you want to do and just copy them, just implement their system, take the actions, and you'll have a direct path through. And that is the smart way. So there are a few key criteria before we actually jump in and go through each business model. We have upfront capital. So this is effectively how much are you having to invest to actually get the business off the ground. That's pretty important if you're on a low budget or you don't want to risk your capital with a venture. Next is scalability. So how far and fast can you scale the business to increase your profits and go from earning, say, 1,000 to 5,000 to 10,000 plus profit per month? Then we've got fulfillment. So how easy is the business to fulfill? How simple is it to deliver your service or get a result from that particular business methodology? The next one is risk. So how risky is it overall? That's in terms of both financial risk, but also you as a person, your reputation, legals, and also how that industry is perceived as well. The next thing is difficulty. This is quite simple. This is how difficult is it for a beginner to really get up and running with the systems. So there's really this grid that we have here. And this comparison I'm going to go through is effectively going to show you this matrix against all the different business models that we cover. And I'm going to cover everything from affiliate marketing to Forex to crypto to social media marketing to AI agencies. The whole lot I'm going to cover. But I just want to say that the most important thing here is with these 5 separate criteria, we're going to benchmark them against everything fairly. There's going to be no bias. Everyone will have their opinion. So if you disagree with something that I'm sharing here, perhaps you're running one of these business models or you're doing very well, then this video is not out to hate. It's not out to criticize any other business model. These are simply my views based on my experiences that I've had with a variety of these business models. So the objective then, which is very important, which you should be writing down, I'd suggest you take some notes, is quite simple. And that is we want to have low upfront capital, high scalability, easy fulfillment, low risk, and low difficulty. So if we can find a business model that hits all these markers, we have found a winner. I think you would agree with that. So a small disclaimer, we're going to go through this now. Just bear in mind, this is my personal opinion, but I really want you to listen, learn, and if you have comments, if you're already operating in these other business models, then please drop a comment below and I'm happy to discuss with you the pros and cons. So here are the online business models that you can choose. I'm going to show you as an overview first. So we've got a whole load of categories. We've got all the way from e-commerce, referral, financial, service, and information. So e-commerce to begin with, we have a variety of methods of fulfilling on e-commerce. We've got Amazon FBA, we've got reselling or flipping, we've got print on demand, which you may have heard before. We've got direct to consumer or white labeling. This is bringing out your own product line. We've got low ticket, and then we have high ticket e-commerce. So there's a whole load of methodologies within that. And again, we know the one that we focus on here, which is high ticket. And obviously, if you've watched this channel, you'll know the reasons why we do that, but I'll cover that later on. We then have referrals. So this is affiliate marketing. Affiliate marketing is effectively where you are an affiliate and you work with big companies. They give you a referral link and they will give you a percentage of commission, 3, 5, 10, even higher than that, based on the traffic you send to their offer and what percentage of that traffic converts. Okay. Next is financial. So this is a big one. You'll see a lot of this on social media. Forex trading, crypto, and investing. And investing, the variety of meanings for that. What I mean by investing is you're investing into certain assets that may be speculative. This is not necessarily long-term investing. So this is short-term investing. Then we've got services. So this is social media marketing agencies, any type of content agency, video agencies, copywriting agencies. And the main one that I'm seeing at the moment is AI automation agencies. Okay. The final one we have here is information. So much like we have, this is courses, this is programs, sharing your knowledge online. And these are actually the main ways that you are able to leverage your skill set or learn a new skill set and make an income online. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to pick from e-commerce the two main ones, which is Amazon and high ticket. And also we have low ticket as well. Okay, so within e-commerce, I'm going to be picking two of these. We've got Amazon and we've got high ticket. These are usually the ones that most people are trying to do. If you watch my other videos, you will see why we don't do a low ticket e-commerce, D2C, reselling, and print on demand. These businesses are built really on very fragile foundations. Effectively, you have low margins, there's too much competition, too much saturation. The main two that we usually see are Amazon and high ticket. What I'll do is I will compare all of the others in here and perhaps group some of them together, and we'll do this now. So you can see with Amazon FBA, the problem with Amazon, to be honest, and don't get me wrong, there are many people who make it work, is that Amazon has a few issues. The first one is that there are high fees. So in terms of fees, we're looking at a big percentage that is taken up in FBA. So if you're fulfilling through Amazon Prime, you've got FBA fees. These are the fees that are paid to Amazon for basically offering your goods. And that's how they make most of their money, through third-party sellers. The next thing is storage fees, shipping fees, and also a lot of brands have to advertise on Amazon. So effectively, when you're looking at your margin, you're not making as much as you could. That being said, the platform does have a huge amount of traffic. It's got a lot of buyers. So if you do find the right products, then you can have huge success. Now, there's a few issues with this though, which is you need to buy stock. So stock needs to be bought up front. You also need to buy lots of units. You need to buy thousands of units if you want to have a huge success rate. The AOV, so this is the average order value on Amazon, is actually around £50 or $50. So it's pretty low. So if you're operating on 20% margins, that's just £10 or $10 per profit per sale. They don't really deal with high-end items that are over £1,000 or £2,000 or dollars. So effectively, you're having to buy lots of stock up front. You're having to send it to Amazon, pay the fees. The risks are if it doesn't sell, then what are you going to do? And the worst part is that Amazon as a business model, they're pretty smart, as you can imagine, one of the world's most valuable companies. They will steal your IP. They will steal what's working. That's the whole reason why they have their system. You'll see Amazon's own brand. And what they do is they will hijack the listings. They may suspend you. And I've heard anecdotal evidence there that they can actually take your products, take what's working, and leverage it on their platform at better margins and just simply undercut. The thing with undercutting is you can get undercut by a lot of other direct from manufacturers. So what we're seeing is, especially with a lot of the tariffs that are happening, is that places like China, these manufacturers, they're going direct to Amazon. They're setting up shell companies and they're simply able to just undercut everyone. So we're basically getting removed. The middleman, middlewoman in this case is just being removed completely from the equation. So high competition, pretty stressful. If you find a good product or a winning product, it may not have longevity. That is the final thing here is longevity. So I've basically benchmarked these out. So upfront capital, and the way we do this is through stars. So the lower the star rating, the worse it is. And the higher the star rating, the better it is. So upfront capital, we have here, basically it's a 1 star because you're going to have to, all of your stock, you can't drop ship it. So pretty huge investment, 10,000, 20,000 pounds or dollars to begin with. Scalability, it's actually very scalable. At the end of the day, you're using a platform that there are hundreds of millions of people on. Fulfillment is sorted. Fulfillment is pretty easy because Amazon deals with everything. There is no fulfillment from your side. However, the risk here, as I've mentioned to you, and the difficulty is exceptionally high. The risk is that your money is stuck in stock. There's competition. There's too much saturation. Your listings can get hijacked. Your listings can get suspended. And the difficulty is finding that winning product. And finding that winning product is something that a lot of people say to me, I've been looking for months, I've tried something, it worked for 2-3 months, and then the business just tanked and you had to find something else. And this vicious cycle of having to constantly find new winning products means your business is pretty much built on sand. It's not built on really strong foundations. So that's Amazon for you. Some of you may have tried Amazon before. If you have, leave a comment below. Let me know how you're doing. The next thing here is affiliate marketing. So affiliate marketing, as I explained, some of you may have tried this, is where you're basically, and this meme that I've created using AI effectively shows you, you're just one of a crowd. You're in here, you're shouting, you're basically putting your links from partners that you work with. So let's say, for example, you're working with a beauty company. They'll give you 10% commission generously on any sale. If you sell an item that's £100 or dollars, you'll get £10 or dollars. Okay. So effectively, because there is such a low barrier to entry, as you can imagine, you don't need to buy stock. You don't really need to have any sort of network. They don't really check anything. Depends on how prestigious the companies are. You're then part of a massive crowd of people who are effectively competing for attention. And the key thing is the attention here. So everyone is competing fiercely for the attention. Now, the issue with this is that in order for you to stand out, you're effectively going to have to pay. Now, unless you are already an influencer, if you already have thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of followers, great, good for you. If you're watching this, you can become an affiliate and you can do brand deals, you can get percentage deals, and you can get commission. Fine. So you have a big audience. If you don't have that, which is the majority of people like you watching this, or you don't have a lot of funding to invest into the paid ad side of things, then you're effectively left pushing your links around on your network, pushing it onto people. There are some nefarious schemes like MLMs that you may be familiar with. These are systems which say they are working as affiliate systems, but effectively you get recruited under people and then you're doing network marketing and you're just spamming your links everywhere. Your reputation is tanking and you probably don't even enjoy what you're doing. If you do want success with this, don't get me wrong. I know quite a few people who do have success with this. You have to know 2 things. One is which partners are you going to work with? Who are your partners? What are the businesses you're partnering with? And then number 2 is how are you getting traffic? And the majority of affiliates who do this well understand paid ads. And they understand how to use the networks to get a return on their investment. Now, usually this is specialists. They have experience with this. For beginners, it can be quite difficult. So do you really want to be an affiliate? stuck in the middle of a crowd. Competition has never been so fierce. So with this, we can see upfront capital is actually really good. You don't really need that much. If you're just using affiliate links to your network, maybe you have some followers, maybe you create organic content, then you don't necessarily need that much upfront capital, to be honest. Now, that means the business is going to go slower, but you're not actually fulfilling on any products. Scalability, this is quite tricky because remember, you're not just the only affiliate, there are lots of others. So I'd put this in the middle here. Fulfillment, again, this is quite difficult because you're not in control. So although fulfillment seems easy, that's the thing, as in you're just sharing a link, the problem with fulfillment here is that your reputation, your links that are going across, is the business that you're working with able to deliver on that? You're not able to control that. And the key thing is you want control over the ability to fulfill. So if the reputation of the provider is bad, or they're not fulfilling, or you're getting refunds, then you're not in control of that, and your margin, your commission will just get wiped. So pretty tricky with that. The next thing is risk. So the risk is that you're relying on these partners, and these are third parties. So we've put this right in the middle. And the next thing is the difficulty. Now, if you do really want to get scale with this, you need to understand paid marketing, paid advertising, and actually this can be quite a big barrier to entry. Otherwise, it's just a hobby and you're not going to make a return. So the next one here is one of our favorites that we have, and you've probably seen all of the Forex and crypto gurus prancing around in their fancy cars and their mansions. Crypto trading, Forex trading, just bear in mind the stats. I'll be really brutal with you here. 95%, probably more than that, of Forex traders fail. They lose money. If they're looking at their year, most of the year they're losing, and most amateurs or even professionals, they are not getting the returns that they say. The way this industry works is through referrals and actually becoming an affiliate. So referrals are really important for them. What they'll do is they'll have a platform and they'll have a broker, and anyone usually who is promoting this is they are bringing people like you who are gullible, who are inexperienced to those brokers. They're getting a fee for when you join. They're getting a fee on the spread, and they're making money from all of the people that they're bringing into the Forex trading platforms, the brokers. Okay, so they're actually being affiliates. They're getting referral income. So just be really careful with Forex. We've seen a lot of people fail with this simply because they're getting led astray and they're copying trades. They think they know. And the problem with this is you can make a lot of money very quickly. However, you can also lose it very, very quickly. So just be super careful with anyone who says it's easy, because it's not. So upfront capital is right in the middle. You can start with a low balance, but if you're risking 1% of your account, 1 to 5% of your account, then you are going to need at least 10K plus in order to have minimal risk on your account, but also be able to make the profits as your trades move. So right in the middle there. Scalability is not very scalable, to be honest. There's no systems that you can put in place. Yes, people say there are AI bots, there are systems you can use that work without you. How trustworthy they are, I'm not entirely sure. So scalability, you can't really build systems around it. You could hire people perhaps, but then how do you trust how they're trading? And perhaps the AI systems are not good enough to do that yet. And if they were, then everyone would be doing it, right? Fulfillment is very easy because it's just on your phone. You're simply just making a few clicks, or on your computer. You don't really have any products to sell. The risk is super high and the difficulty is super high. So just bear that in mind. So the next one here is social media marketing agencies. Now, this has been around for, I would say, 10 plus years. And the thing with this is, it's not just social media. You could be a copywriting agency, a video marketing agency, all sorts of agencies that provide services to businesses. Now, the problem really is that AI has come along, and AI has effectively removed a lot of jobs. So for example, graphic designers, logo creators, copywriters, even video editors, these are all trending downwards. And that's because the tools have got better. So if you're thinking about operating in these markets, remember there are very sophisticated players and the margins are shrinking because you're competing. So I won't stay too long on this, but you have to remember that there is upfront capital. So you have to build the systems, you have to learn the systems, you then have to find the client. So this is either business to business, so you're doing a lot of outreach and you're investing into ads, or you're investing into systems to reach out to people. So there is a fair amount of upfront capital also for the software you're going to have to use depending dependent on the model. The next thing is scalability. So you can scale this. If you really hone down, you have a niche, you target a certain type of business, you can just roll that out across all of them. So you can scale it pretty well. Fulfillment is very, very difficult. So unless you know or understand how to scale these services up and maintain the quality, then your fulfillment is going to be extremely difficult and you'll probably have to hire a lot of people. The risk is also pretty strong here because of oversaturation. And the difficulty, again, really, you're going to have to learn skills. You're going to have to be world class at a skill set because it is so competitive. So do you want to be skilling up for a couple of years? And if you do not want to do that, you're going to have to hire people who are very talented, and that then is going to cost you the upfront capital. So that is social media marketing. The next one, which I see being banded about online quite a lot at the moment, is become an AI agency where you can implement AI tools and automations without any tech skills. Okay. And I'll tell you something, this is the biggest load of BS that I have ever seen because you are getting the wool pulled over your eyes. Do you really think you can compete with technically led businesses that have people who are developers, coders, have experience with automations and software, and you can outcompete them? Remember, with AI, yes, there are tools that make it easy to build a website, to build automations. There's software like NAN, like Vappy, like even Zapier, Lovable, Bolt. There are lots of platforms where you can build these automations and systems for other businesses. But honestly, this image that I've created here just shows you businesses, sophisticated businesses, they can see right through non-technical agencies. They are familiar, if they have the funding, with technical systems. And the problem is that if you're presenting a way of doing something, number one, it may not be the right way. So it may just be incorrect. But secondly, there's a whole load of issues on the back end, which is setting up. So how do you actually set up the systems? How do you maintain them? And that involves things like APIs. It involves things like regular updates. How do you maintain security, which is another one, which is of people's data? And we've seen a lot of breaches of GDPR in the UK. There's a lot of this to do with data controls. How do you keep things secure? And then the final thing with this is, how do you ensure that your systems do not get made redundant? And by that, I'll just write redundant here. By redundant, I mean that the industry, the whole AI industry is moving so quickly. How do you ensure the system that you've built for someone can actually remain up to date? Because to be honest, they could have the internal tools to replace what you've built in the next year. So you've just got to be really careful. Now, if you are sophisticated, if you are into AI, if you are using these tools, absolutely, don't get me wrong, these AI agencies can be very, very profitable. We've seen agencies, for example, with just call answering, building automated voice receptionists using Vappy. We've seen systems where people are creating video ad agencies, automation agencies, going into businesses and consulting. So just be careful when people say it's super easy, because it's not. So we'll go through this. Upfront capital isn't too much. There is some software costs, some scaling up costs. Scalability is huge. Absolutely, this is an untapped area. You can scale it. Fulfillment, very difficult. Very risky too, simply because, are you being GDPR compliant? Are you updating your security controls? Is there lifetime value in this? It's pretty risky. Is the AI industry going to eat itself? As in, will these companies see right through what you're doing, learn it themselves, and get AI to build the AI system you've implemented? It's kind of a tongue teaser there. So difficulty is exceptionally hard. You may be dealing, and you will be dealing with technically led teams. So the next thing here, this is second to last, is info products. Now, the thing with info products is this is exactly what we have here. And we run an information product. We run a mentoring business. This is what Dropship Circle is. And I'll tell you from experience is that there's a lot of people out there saying you can sell your skill set. You can sell anything. Trust me, it is very difficult to get experience with something, to get credibility, to build an audience, to actually be able to position yourself in a marketplace and establish authority. And from that authority, you then need to be able to deliver a program that gets results for other people. So let me tell you something. If you are not a specialist, if you're trying to learn a skill to sell it simply to other people, then just be very, very careful. However, if you already have a skill set, for example, if you can play the guitar, you know how to sew, you know how to do certain sports, you're in the gym, you know how you do your fitness routines, whatever it may be, or you know one of the other business models, then you can actually teach it and you can deliver results. Just be very careful though, because people do say online it's very easy to create info products. Yes, it is. It's very easy to create ebooks, courses, things like that. You can do that. It just takes time. However, actually getting the scale and getting the profitability is very, very difficult. So what we have here is upfront capital. Now, in order to learn the skill, it's going to cost you something, right? In order to build the systems, run the ads, you're going to have to actually have upfront capital for this, unless, again, you use another fulfillment methodology like growing your organic traffic, growing your social media, and promoting it that way. Very, very scalable. You can go worldwide with any piece of knowledge, and the fulfillment can be very easy for some of these. So you can have a course, you can simply offer it, and you don't have to offer necessarily mentoring. We offer that part with our program simply because we hold our students' hands to get them results. The next thing is risk. So it can be very risky. At the end of the day, there is so much competition with this. Will your program stay up to date? And will it even make sales? That's the key thing. And is that sustainable? Then difficulty I've put here, it's actually very hard. The reason why is mainly the competition, but also keeping your program and the knowledge up to date and getting results on the back end for your clients. So that is the info product space. Now, the final thing which you've been waiting for, and if you're still with me on this video, then well done, because we have saved the best for last here. Obviously, this is high ticket dropshipping, high ticket e-commerce. So as you know from my other videos on this channel, this is the best business model to run. You could say that I'm being biased here, but you're going to see the comparison later on between all of these. And I hope you'd agree. What I'm saying is very fair. What I'm saying makes sense to you. And if it is starting to make sense, you're going to understand why this is the best business model to start moving forward into the end of 2025 and the start of and throughout the whole of 2026 and beyond, to be honest, because this industry is growing. So we have here very high margins for products between $500 to £1,000 or dollars per sale. So that's just for one item. If you can do that one per week, you are laughing. Low competition. Trust me, not many people are teaching this or executing it properly, probably because it's a little bit more sophisticated than they're capable of. And actually, you do need to be a serious person who's ready to put in the work and the effort. Local suppliers, we use local supply chains, nothing from China or abroad. If you're in the US, we use US suppliers, and the same with the UK, we use UK suppliers. So that's where we are. We're in the blue ocean, okay? The red ocean is where everyone else is. They are all fighting for discounts, for low ticket products, and they are all just stressed, okay? So with this model, we want a lifestyle business. We want ease of use. We want simplicity, and we don't want to have too much upfront capital or too much risk. So let's go through these. So obviously upfront capital, well, actually you don't need that much. Aside from the knowledge, if you want to join a course or program or mentoring like ours, that will cost you. But to be honest, upfront capital, we say between 500 to £1,000 or dollars. So it's not as much as other models. You can start with less than that if you don't want to run paid ads. So upfront capital is great. Scalability, huge scalability. Again, if you sold 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 products a month, that is still a very small business. And actually you are scaling that business, like our students, past the 5, 10, 15, 20,000 a month. Fulfillment now is super simple because we're using local high quality suppliers and they have next day delivery. And so for your customers, it's very easy. They place the order, takes 5 minutes on your phone. You put in the tracking information, pay your supplier, and that's it. The order's delivered. Risk, very low. The reason why the risk is low is 2 reasons. One is we're using branded goods. So let's say if you're selling coffee machines, you'll sell Nespresso, Breville, Sage, all the big names, and that applies to all different industries. So one is that we're using branded, trusted products. And number 2 is that we're using local suppliers and distributors with high quality customers. So these customers are customers who are trustworthy. They've got the money to invest. And so the risk here is very low because your suppliers, they care about the quality of the product. Your customers, in general, they're very nice people. They have the budget. So your risk here is you're not buying stock up front. That's the whole point of this. You're simply making the sale, collecting the money, paying for the order, and that then gets sent to your customers. So no risk. There's no inventory risk here. Difficulty, I would say this is probably one of the easiest models to get into, only if you know what you're doing. That is the caveat here, only if you know what you're doing. If you try and do this on a whim without education, the correct education, or without correct mentoring, you will be in a very tricky place, much like any of the other models, to be honest. So what I'll do now is you can see here the overview. We've got a comparison here and you can see that I put that together. So you can see all of these benchmarked against each other. If you want, you can just pause the video. You can screenshot this. You can download it. You can, make notes on it. And I hope you can see that I've tried to be as impartial as possible, just from first principles thinking. Again, I have experience, you have experience. There are lots of other people who will have these models working. They'll have social media marketing, Amazon, info products, affiliate, Forex, crypto. You will be able to find people who have these working, who are legitimate. So if you think this video is a hate video against those other models, then you are wrong. It is definitely not that. What I'm trying to show you is being transparent about where these models are good and where these models are bad. And that's the best way to share with you what will work for you. And so really you can see here, the A plus tier is high ticket dropshipping. It really is the best thing to do. I would say in terms of the next things going down the list, social media marketing, AI automation, they are big opportunities. If you know you have a skill set you're willing to learn, info products can be very profitable just simply because you can get that scalability and it doesn't have to cost you too much. Amazon, I wouldn't really recommend right now, very saturated. Affiliate marketing, very saturated. And Forex and crypto trading is, just from personal experience and people I know, it's basically just going to a casino. So I hope you can see here, really what we're trying to do is we're trying to have a blue ocean strategy. This is taken from a really good book, Blue versus Red Oceans. And you can see here, high ticket dropshipping operates in that blue ocean with high margins, low competition, local suppliers, and it avoids this red ocean of fierce competition and shrinking profits and huge risk. And that is the key thing you've got to bear in mind. Whatever business model you're getting into, as I say in other videos, there's this relationship between your time, your energy, and your money, okay? And so what you want to do is you want to be able to balance these three between each other, yeah? So if you have a lot of time, then you can invest that, you can learn skills, and perhaps the AI agencies, the info products, that can work quite well, right? However, if you have lots of money and you're putting it into crypto and risking it in Forex, then you're going to risk a huge amount. You could just lose everything, even though it's saving you time. So really, you've got to think of all of these. And the key thing with what we have here with Dropship Circle is we ensure that whatever level you come in, you're going to get results. So if you have a low budget, we have an entry-level program. It will get you up to scratch with all the skills that you need. And you can launch the business with not much upfront capital. If you have some funds behind you, we'll give you the full program. We'll give you 12 months of mentoring. We'll give you a guarantee. That's a financial guarantee to make sure you get a return as long as you meet those deliverables. And if you really have a lot of money as an investor that you were looking at putting into property, crypto, Forex, stocks, investing, we do done for you. So we actually build the business for you. Me and my team come in, we consult with you, we choose the products, the niches, the suppliers, we build the store, we run the ads, and we have a partnership model that basically benefits our higher tier clients who have more money to invest. So wherever you are on the scale, whatever level of funding you have, I really think you should consider high ticket e-commerce, high ticket dropshipping. Look on this channel, look at the other videos. And if you're ready, you can click below this video. I do have a free training that you can watch there. It doesn't take too long, around half an hour of your time. Put in your details. I promise we won't spam you. Watch that training video and you will see why this model works the best compared to all these business models. So I really hope that you've enjoyed this video. As always, I really appreciate it when you comment, when you like, when you subscribe. It helps us out and it will grow the channel. So any other questions that you have, just let me know below this video. And me and my team really look forward to speaking with you. If you want to work with us, simply watch that video, enter your details. You can leave a comment, you can email us, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video.